Annyeonghae Ideman Kyle. I think I said it right. I hope. Fingers crossed. I've been trying to teach myself Korean over the past couple months over on Duolingo. And I've been promising an update. So tonight the update. Melissa, it is happening. It is happening.
Season finale of Duolingo.
Exactly. Welcome to number 245 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log, where every week we thirst for the taste of legend. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing good. I have a guest.
Oh, you have a big book that's back there.
I have a book that's so big, I decided it needed to be introduced as a guest. It is that much presence. This is a book.
That looks cool.
The video viewers can see it, but let me introduce this thing. Around Christmas time, as a treat for myself and others, I went looking around for good entertainment books, like books about movies and TV. And I saw a title that immediately called out to me.
Oh, you hit the jackpot on that one.
And the book was $75. And I have been waiting for it to price drop since Christmas. And finally I found it at $56 and I pulled the trigger. This book is Lairs, Radical Homes and Hideouts of Movie Villains.
Amazing. This thing is ginormous. It has to be what, like 2 or 3 inches thick? And it's a good size book.
Absolutely.
It is black with like metallic silver text and art on it. It's sleek. It looks nice.
The pages are black. The entire book is silver ink on black paper.
Ooh.
The whole book wears the aesthetic inside and out. I can't believe this thing. This is the fanciest item I own. It's so, it feels like fabric. I can't put this on my coffee table. It has to go someplace nice. I have to put it behind glass.
You need a big podium that they have at like the libraries and stuff where you can get like the reference book or the like giant Bible that are on those things. You just need like a giant podium with a light to display this book.
See, look, it's got a number of different Bond villains in here, like 3 or 4 different Bond villain layers. I'm holding the book open to just a giant silver portrait of Ernst Stavro Blofeld.
Amazing. That is so cool. Oh, Melissa, I think you accidentally turned your camera off. You were like, and that's it. No more. You get to see none of the book.
This is all I have to show. No, it flopped over and like hit the button that apparently turns that off. This thing is so heavy. I'm like scared to crack the spine open that far. Right? I've got to show you some of the line art in these things. It just has these beautiful, like crisp silver line art drawings, like schematics and floor plans of these layers.
Yeah. It almost looks like when I got my high school diploma, it came in this like red, like nice folder thing with like leather on it. But inside on the diploma was like a hand-drawn like etching of our high school. Did you have something similar?
Maybe everybody has it. If we both have it,
is this a conspiracy?
We're from entirely different parts of the country. If you and I both have it, I think this must be exceptionally common.
Right, yeah. It looked like that kind of art, but and this is not in like a bad way, but on those scratch off things where it's like the black thing and you scratch it off and it's like the metallic silver behind it. That looks awesome. I would have so much fun just like looking through all that, reading all the history, all the production stuff that went into making them. That's so cool.
It's got an interview with Ken Adams, who designed like a bunch of different Bond movies, and Barry Lyndon and Adams Family Values.
Wild. That's fun. I am about to kick our podcast into overdrive. Melissa, I have a Mountain Dew Overdrive for us to talk about, or I guess not really talk about here, but I have one to sip on while we are podcasting. So here we go. Let's head over to the Mountain Dew wiki page.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
All right. Mountain Dew Overdrive. This is an orange color. It is Mountain Dew with a blast of citrus punch. It is a franchise exclusive flavor available since June 2022 at Casey's General Stores. Do you guys have these where you are?
We do.
Melissa?
Yes. I'm familiar with the Casey's.
I've never actually physically been to one. But they are around here. And my girlfriend happened to go there recently and was like, here you go, new Mountain Dew. And I was like, oh yeah, amazing. So Mountain Dew Overdrive. This is an interesting one. So this is not my first time having this. I had one earlier on in the week. But when I tasted it at first, it tasted to me like orange and lemon. Like it is extra citrusy, as I mean, all Mountain Dew is citrusy to an extent, right? But this was like extra orange and lemon. However, the flavors that's listed here on the website, and even on the artwork is where'd it go? Raspberry, lime, and mango is what these three flavors are here. It's interesting. It's not bad. It's not my favorite, but it is good.
On the Mountain Dew wiki.
Oh, good. Go ahead. Yes, please.
On the wiki, in the list of related flavors, was one called Sasquench.
I'm glad you spotted this because this is what I was about to say next.
How could I miss Sasquench? Sasquench is a rumored franchise exclusive Mountain Dew flavor which may release only at Little Caesars in 16-ounce cans, and it is currently unknown if it will be releasing or for how long. Truly the cryptid of sodas.
That, right? Yeah. It is actually a cryptid.
But it would be flavored raspberry citrus punch, which is raspberry, lime, and orange, which sounds pretty good. The color would be orange. We know the color, but we don't know if we will ever hold it in our hands.
That's so funny. Because I saw this and I was going to bring on the pod. I mean, that sounds so official. I was gonna ask you if that was just the name of like a regular drink, like a common one. Is this something that you would get? Would you feel embarrassed being like, yes, 2 Sasquenches, please?
I don't think I've ever been embarrassed to order a beverage.
Not even when they have like some some sexual innuendo named cocktail, right?
No, I like those. I like the permission to be bawdy.
That's funny. I just thought like Sasquench. It's such a good like portmanteau of 2 different words, Sasquatch and quench, because it's quenching your thirst. If you guys didn't understand that, that's what they're doing here.
Yellow and red make orange.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it just like it feels like someone would have come up with that before. Sasquench.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
That feels like that could very easily be a joke from Gravity Falls or something.
Yeah. Speaking of Gravity Falls, I've been watching season 2 of that. I'll mention that a little bit.
Very nice
down the road, though. But yeah, Mountain Dew Overdrive, pretty good.
You got to get one of those charts. Like, people who are big travelers and they'll have a map on their wall, and the map is made out of
everywhere, man.
It's
Right.
the map's made out of lotto ticket material, and once you've been to a state or a country, you can scratch it off with a quarter. You need one of those, but for Mountain Dew flavors.
Right, or like those. Did you remember when the 50 state quarters were brand new, and everyone
We've talked
had those,
about this.
Did
we talked about this recently.
Well, it's like one of those, but instead of the quarters, I put the caps of each Mountain Dew that I had in there. It fits right in there.
Mm-hmm.
Can cross off Overdrive on my list. That's so funny. That would be perfect. I to be honest, wouldn't put it past Mountain Dew to do something like that. Do a Dew crawl, like a 50 states Dew crawl.
Dew crawl.
Yeah. That
God,
also sounds like the name of a Pokemon. Dew crawl.
It's a water type.
An extreme water type.
I don't even know if that's a real Pokemon type. If there's normal type, there must be extreme type. I don't need you to verify that to me. I like to believe that that's real.
I'll let you believe that. Sure. There you go. Congratulations. You now believe there are extreme types.
Right. Charizard is fire and extreme.
So how has your week been? Have you been up to anything else besides buying books and stuff like that?
Bought one book singular. Went to several movies. I saw Mission Impossible twice, and then I went to go see Interstellar at my local Alamo Draft House, which was great because that was a Nolan I had never seen before that I wanted to cross off my list before I saw Oppenheimer, and I got to see it on a big screen, and it was very, very cool.
That's awesome. That's also one that I have not seen. It's
pretty.
I feel like I'm on the fence or not if I want that on my list of shame of just because I know it's really, really good. So it has that going for it. But then I also know there's maybe some light time travel stuff in there just by the nature of science-y black hole stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a big time travel fan. I'm a big sci-fi fan. So it feels like it's up my alley. But I've also just never had an urge to be man, Interstellar. I need to go see that one.
Right. Now's the time. Maybe you'll come out of Oppenheimer and you're like, I crave more. And then you'll watch Interstellar. I crave.
I have to go back. Yeah. Yeah, that's neat. So you went to did they do their whole special intro thing where they always have different odds and ends playing before the movie that are Interstellar related?
Not Interstellar related specifically. I've found that most of the time when I'm going to a screening of an older film, it's just whatever they have in rotation. Like when I saw the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings movies earlier this year, I got a double Dutch video from the late 70s or 80s. Just a bunch of girls playing double Dutch and singing a double Dutch song, which was very cool. And this time I got very old, black and white, watermarked, kind of blurry footage of a live Tina Turner performance, her singing Proud Mary live on some variety show or something. Even at the lower quality, still outstanding.
I'm sure, even just on that big screen with the good speakers and stuff, right? And they play it especially loud at the Alamo Draft House. They're just let's turn up the volume. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. I had a great time. I do love getting there early to see those old video clips. That's such a cozy feeling.
I went to go see, it was one of the new like Star Wars sequel trilogies. I don't remember which one it was that I saw. It may have been the first one, because I think this is when I was in Texas. And we went to an Alamo Draft House to go see that brand new Star Wars, and they played all of the old Star Wars commercials that they could find, like all of the like action figure, like here's the Mattel stuff, here's these ones, here's those ones. Yeah, exactly. And it was all of those just back to back to back to back. And then like a number of like prank calls and stuff to Alamo Draft Houses that they've had in the past, of like Darth Vader calling to complain about someone who was talking or right, like during the film and stuff. So that was a blast. They always have some good fun stuff.
I would buy a ticket to just 2 hours of the video ephemera that they can dig up. 2 hours of commercials. I don't have to see a real movie, Alamo Draft House.
There was a streamer that I found at one point who on his like, hey, I need to go use the bathroom or something, I'll be right back. On that screen, he would do almost exactly that. He would just have like old commercials from the 70s just start playing and like cycling through. And I was like, this is so cool. Actually,
Brutal Moose does that. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. That's fun. That's fun indeed.
I love it.
It's cool.
What was I talking? Interstellar.
Yes, please.
Lately, I've realized that one of my favorite genres of movies is corn. Not corny, but a movie that takes place in and around cornfields. I just love to see cornfields as a Midwesterner.
You need to have a corn quota.
Right, I often think I need
the corn genre.
If I don't see the wind blowing through wheat fields like at least once a year, I lose my Midwesterner power. And I think corn's like that too. Some of the best corn movies, Signs.
That's what I was just about to say. That is my like quintessential like corn movie.
The X-Files movie from the 90s. Great corn action. I love that movie, and the corn's a big part of it. Field of Dreams.
Sure.
Maybe it's just the punch
Jeepers Creepers, right? Yeah.
Sure. There's Children of the Corn, but I feel like that's more children than it is corn. Maybe it's just the combo of Signs and the X-Files movie and how often I watched those things when I was younger. But I need corn to be a little spooky.
Yeah.
And like, I know Field of Dreams is about ghosts, but that's not a spooky movie. And Interstellar isn't either. It's mostly sad corn, not spooky corn. But they eat so much of it. I've never seen a corn movie where they eat so much corn because it's the future and they're going through like another dust bowl and crops are dying. And it's like vegetable by vegetable is dying. Like nobody has wheat. Nobody has okra. We only have corn. Corn still grows. So they just eat corn, everything. Just piles of corn for dinner.
That's funny. God, I'm trying to think of like what was the last big movie I saw that had a good corn scene.
Man of Steel.
Maybe. Yeah. Trying to think, because I don't know. There has to be something I'm forgetting, but yeah, that seems about right. Especially when he's back on the farm, something like
With
that.
the new Superman movie on the horizon, we've got more corn to look forward to. That's nice.
Indeed. Yeah. Speaking of corn, I'm gonna keep an ear out for a good transition here because I don't have one.
You don't have to have one. We never have.
I wanted to go back to Duolingo real quick here.
Okay, absolutely. What is your review?
So So I a couple months ago was like, you know what? I kind of want to learn a new language, and I would like to learn Korean. So I downloaded Duolingo and was like, teach me Korean. And I started, and I was like, here's the plan. I'm gonna do this for 3 months and do it like every day for 3 months and see where I was at after those 3 months. I ended up pushing it back a little bit just because we had a lot going on. And we had the whole exciting like race to the number one spot where we had the one person who wrote my name on a dick shaped sign and like changed their profile picture, all of that good stuff. And it was an interesting experience for sure. My review at its heart is this: I didn't learn a thing, but it's a damn good game. It is such a good game.
It did take you a while before you were able to say a single word to me in Korean when I requested it.
Yeah. So I have to be honest, I haven't even looked at the app in maybe about a month. Or a couple weeks, getting on to be about a month now.
So you're doing the review now because you remembered you said you would. Is there a recent event that made you say, right, the Duolingo?
I never forgot, but we did our like E3 predictions. We did our trivia night. Like we had certain stuff that was like, okay, we need to move it there and then this and all that good stuff. But yeah, I don't feel like in doing it every day for 3 months straight, I walked away with any kind of like basic conversational stuff, which I wasn't really expecting to retain much, but kind of about what I know from like high school Spanish, right? Just how to say like, hello, my name is, like, where is the library, right? Stuff like that. Just a few phrases.
I came to Seoul to see its famous libraries.
Donde está la biblioteca? And they're just like, what? That's Spanish. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either, dude. Duolingo 3 months didn't help. But that's the thing. Like, I am much more familiar with their alphabet now. And I think spending some time away and going back into it, I think will help in the long term, right? To give your mind a break from not doing it every single day, I think helps with like long-term memory stuff. But I would like to continue, though I don't necessarily want to continue with Duolingo. I feel like there's better apps out there, or I could go to a library and find like a Korean textbook and do stuff that way. I feel like there's better ways if you're actually serious about learning the language. I think especially for Korean, Duolingo feels like supplementary. It feels like almost like homework exercises to just like make sure you remembered what you learned from the textbook. Because they were, I say it's a damn good game because they really did gamify the hell out of this. It is like the loops that they have in this to like get you hooked and make you want to do it. They are so effective. And since doing it, I've now seen a number of other people I follow on Twitter start to do this, who were in like the games media and stuff, and they also started to figure out the same tricks that I did. And there were some that they had that I didn't even figure out. That I was like, oh, that's so smart. Like, I wish I had known that, and it would have been so much easier. But yeah, it's neat to see them go through that loop and just be like, I'm addicted. Like, I need to do this every single day. And apparently in like 2018, there was I think 2018-ish, there was a talk that was given at GDC, the Games Developers Conference, on Duolingo and its like gamification. That apparently was a pretty good talk. I don't know, but yeah, it's a fun game. It feels supplementary. I did walk away with the familiarity, like, of the alphabet, some of the stuff like that. I think if I do go back to it, though, I would want to reset where I'm at and do everything again. Because once I did get hooked into their, like, weekly legs and stuff, I started to ignore one of the other aspects, which was the alphabet practice and stuff like that. And I had just started to get to like the complicated stuff of like the I before E except after C, but it sounds like A, right? Like that equivalent. And then I got hooked on the other stuff and then tried to go back to this and was just like, oh God, I don't remember any of this. And I kind of want to go back to the easy stuff. Help me, because I don't remember. But yeah, I had a good time. I think it's a fun little thing if you just want some casual, like, oh, maybe I'll pick up a word or two or stuff like that. But at the end of the day, kind of walked away with not much. So
good review. Thank you for providing the service. Except for sodas, we never do consumer product reports on this show.
You never know.
I'll just come here about like a blender I got. Right, like
all right, guys. So here's my new keyboard that I got here. It is white instead of black.
That is some keyboard. I have sincerely been wanting one of those really aesthetic keyboards like that, but they're so clicky clacky, and I don't need it. I don't need it for anything I actually do here at home. I want to type emails faster at work. Like, I do wonder sometimes if I had a very high-end keyboard, could I shave a couple seconds off of every of the 100 emails I have to send every day? But then I'm like, that's too loud for you to take into an office. You don't want to be the office nuisance to save yourself maybe 18 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to go into all of this, but I started to get white stuff. I now have a white mouse. I have a white mouse pad and everything. Cool. I used to have all black stuff. And I realized before I moved that my previous like podcast room was just so dark behind me, like even with the neon lights and all that stuff that I have, all my furniture was black and like dark and stuff. And I was just like, I kind of want more like white stuff because that also reflects the lights that I have here and it's more colorful and it's brighter. And so then I was just like,
that's where I've been moving to. It took me so long to find this white office chair.
Yeah, that chair looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Great one. But yeah, that's about all of the consumer product news that I have here right now.
It was nice to have an ongoing saga like that, where like you actually learned something at the end of the day. Not as much as you were hoping to, but you could say, hello, my name is Kyle in another language where maybe you didn't before. And that's cool.
I'm
that's
probably
character growth for the show.
Mispronouncing all of that stuff, but yeah, like that's fun. Like that's stuff that every now and then I think is neat to like just try out, if nothing else, for content on the podcast, right? Like, let me try this out for 3 months or 6 months or however much. There was a podcast that I listened to where one of the hosts was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go vegan cold turkey for 6 months and just try it. And they did, and after their 6 months was just like, I'm gonna keep being it, not so strict, but like I'm like, for them they were healthier, like they like did all of that stuff, but they were also like but every once in a while, like I miss a good like steak or like a good
Yeah.
cheeseburger. And so he was just like, I'll be mostly vegan,
Mm-hmm.
but I still, every now and then a little something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was my like, what if I just try to learn a language? So who knows what I'll do down the line.
That's a cool challenge.
I know that I want to. I finally have my Oklahoma ID. I've had that for 2 months ish, 3 months now. I don't know. But I have that, which means I can now go get a library card. We have a library not too far from where we live, so I'd love to like go check out and see what they have there and see like, hey, you guys have a textbook, a Korean textbook I could check out and do stuff with. So we'll see.
I thought this was leading towards I can get my learner's permit in Oklahoma. My next challenge for myself for podcast content is I learn to drive.
Podcast from the car.
Podcast content 1, getting myself around, second priority.
Exactly. I have to have the instructor hold my phone. It's like, all right, YouTube, we're here in the car where I'm learning to drive. Keep your eyes on the road. Oh my god. Like, share, subscribe. Die. But yeah, that's been my journey with Duolingo. So
that's cool.
Who knows where that will lead?
I found that I only have media related challenges for myself.
That's okay.
Like I'm gonna watch every Best Picture nominated movie this year or something like that, or I'm gonna complete this director's filmography, which I enjoy. But then I hear about other people. Like I have a coworker who plays volleyball. She's in like a volleyball league on different textures, a court, sand, mud.
There you go. Lava. Right?
Not lava. Like I challenge myself in one specific lane and 0% in other lanes. I do really envy the people who have like a physical hobby, not just like a sedentary hobby like I do. Even like my dad driving around on his motorcycle.
There's this author, this cartoonist named Ryan Estrada. We had him on one of the podcasts for the Whatnauts a long time ago when we covered The Boy and the Beast, I believe it was, as well as the Hamilton stage recordings or like live all that good stuff. Paul had met him while he was out in Korea at some comedy night, and that's how like they ended up talking. He's a cartoonist. He lives in Korea with his wife. He has a like how to read Korean in 15 minutes little comic. He helped work on a book with his wife called Banned Book Club, which I have wanted to bring on to the review show for some time now. In all the news of books being banned recently in schools, his was one of them, because his wife ran a banned book club in college, I think when she was in China or something like that. And it's like her whole story to do that. But I remember hearing him talk about this thing that he used to do. I'm sure he still does it. But like 1 month out of every year, no matter what it is, what he's asked to do or to go to or participate in or try out, he says yes to like stuff that would like make him scared. Like if he gets invited up to like an open mic night and stuff, he'll be like, yes, and then he will go perform, even if he's like absolutely scared stiff or like has never done that or like, hey, go, like, let's go skiing or let's do this, like, let's go to this new restaurant. He just 1 month out of the entire year just says yes to like new opportunities and stuff. And he said that like, it was always really, really rewarding because yeah, you have all of these new experiences, but then you meet a bunch of new people that are like the thing that you just did is their hobby, or it's the thing that they right. Like there's all sorts of neat stuff that's out there. But that's what you just reminded me of, that like you have a coworker that goes and plays volleyball and does all of this stuff, and yeah, interesting. I don't know.
I want to say also, speaking of sports, my roommate plays a number of different sports. She is on a women's football team. She plays flag and tackle, but I think it's like the tackle football team that she's on. She's going to the national championships, and she's like, "We're going to be on ESPN 2."
Hell yeah.
2 that's moving up there. I'm so awesome. Proud of her to be on ESPN 2 this weekend.
That's cool. That's
the closest brush with celebrity I'll ever have.
Right? There you go. Yeah, I say we take a quick break for some housekeeping. When we get back, I have my cinema corner, all the stuff we've been watching, and then did you guys know tomorrow, the day after that we're recording this, is an anniversary of the moon landing? I didn't do the math in my head, but it happened in 1969. So
hold on. Oh, there you go. Oh man, how do I do this? 20. No, let me do it real quick.
You'll find out the answer when we come back. We'll be right back. Here at the Whatnauts, we make multiple different shows, and a lot of hard work goes into making them. So we would love it if you check them all out. If you enjoy our shows, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is the best place to show your support. For just $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes, and at our $3 tier, a Patreon exclusive podcast, The Pilots Club. You can even get a shout out and thank you on most of our shows at the $5 tier. And if you're one of our patrons already, thank you so much. It means the world to us. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in The Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch for video versions of the shows, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a mug or something else, head over to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. All right, we are back. Once again, a big shout out to our Patreon supporters. We love you a lot. Thank you so much. It means a ton. Over on the Pilots Club this past month, we got to talk about Cable Girls. It is a show on Netflix that helped launch Netflix Spain, 1920s period piece. A little bit more soapy than we were expecting, but still a good time. But Melissa, do you want to give them a quick tease of what we're going to be doing for this next month?
We have been watching The Good Place, one season a month over on the review show. We're about to conclude that. So I thought, let's watch Kristen Bell's first major television project and watch the pilot of Veronica Mars.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. So that's over on the Pilots Club, our Patreon exclusive podcast at the $3 tier and above. As you mentioned over on the review show, not only is our end of the month specials on The Good Place, which we will be wrapping up real soon here at the end of this month. But because this is Barbenheimer week, over on the review show, Melissa, you decided to pitch me that there are two movies inside you, and it's about which one you feed. There was one inspired by Oppenheimer, one inspired by Barbie, and I picked the one that was inspired by Barbie, and we watched the Brady Bunch movie from the 90s.
Yes.
And that was a blast. I wasn't expecting it to be I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but I had a lot of fun with that one.
I'm so
That's good.
happy. That was a great rewatch for me. That was an old
Absolutely.
childhood favorite that I hadn't seen in a very long time.
Good stuff. Over on the Reactor Core, of course, we are keeping up with Secret Invasion. We will do our thoughts on episode 5 and 6, which is the finale, this next week. So keep your eyes out for that. Again, Barbenheimer week, we will have spoiler casts on both of those. I'm sure we'll do like some kind of back-to-back recording on them sometime in the near future here. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Yes.
What I'd originally proposed is that we do an episode
That is,
on
like,
both.
on
And it's
both
about
at the same
both
time.
movies, and it's about like what was your experience that day? Because at least a
Sure,
lot of
yeah.
people I know are talking about these not just as two movies they want to see that happen to come out at the same time, but a double feature,
Exactly.
an event, an entire day you have planned. So I want this to be like an event review.
Absolutely. So be on the lookout for that. And then last but not least, right here on the Captain's Log this past week, we got to talk about the Superman casting news and meeting the Hershey Park mascots. And if Mountain Dew was a mascot, would I meet him? And I said, yes, I would meet Mr. Dew.
Go hug Dew. Big bottle of Dew with little arms and little white Mickey Mouse gloves.
Good stuff. Well, that's about all of the housekeeping that I got right now. So, Melissa, name that Pokemon. What was the math on the moon landing anniversary? July 21st, 1969. How long has it been?
Tomorrow will be 54 years. 54 years ago, we went to moon.
There you go. Yeah.
Now the moon anniversary happens. It has happened every year for the past 53 years. Is there something special that made you want to talk about it this year?
Anniversary is. No, it's just something I saw on Twitter and then was just like thinking back, because I went to a school that was named after an astronaut, and we always had a big like science and technology, like space themed program is maybe I think what you could call it. We even did like space simulations where we could go and like predict when the next Halley's Comet thing was coming around, like all that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Don't we already know that? Isn't that like factual?
I don't know what we did. I don't remember. I'm not an astronaut. Obviously, I didn't care enough.
That's like in the Farmer's Almanac how often Halley's Comet happens. They don't need to make second graders figure it out.
It was third grade. Thank you very much. God, Melissa. No, I just saw that and thought to myself, Melissa, if you could live on another planet, would you?
I love Moon. Moon's a friend. I think it's very special that nobody, except if you are an astronaut or an astronomer or something, everybody has the same relationship with the moon. Like nobody gets a different one. Like rich people don't see a different moon than anybody else does.
Yeah.
If you can,
it makes
if you
your
can
eye
see
look
the
like
moon,
a big pizza pie, no matter if you're rich or poor or
exactly. That song's for everybody. Moon hits
when it
your
rains,
eye,
it pours.
you love it.
When it's moon,
Right, like-
it's pizza eye.
There's just something so egalitarian about the moon that I really appreciate. I really look up to her. I
Not
like
alone.
we all do.
Oh man.
I don't want to go. I have to
You wouldn't go to the moon?
I haven't even been at the top of a very tall building before. Like
What is the tallest building you've been in? Like, what is the highest floor of a building that you've been on?
the top
know?
of the John Hancock Tower in Chicago. So there's the Sears Tower, which is now called the Willis Tower. That's the tallest building. I believe tallest building in North America. I have not been there, but there's a building that's close in height. That's called the John Hancock Tower. And at the top of that, they've got a place called the Signature Lounge. And you take an elevator ride
That's
up there that
100 stories.
feels... That's where the Signature Lounge is. It's 100 stories off the ground.
100 stories tall, yeah.
It's cool. You feel that you're going up that high in an elevator. It's truly an uncanny elevator ride. And you go up there in these huge, huge windows. You can see all of Chicago. I've seen it at day and at night.
Speaking of, it also opened in 1969.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's in, like, you can pay to go to an observation deck, or you can go to the Signature Lounge and just pay the cost of a cocktail. I bought like a $14 Bahama Mama or something like that and got to look out at Chicago. It's a really lovely place. I was thinking recently, I got to get back there.
Yeah. I've been up in the it's the Washington Monument, right? That's the obelisk one. Yeah. I've been up in the top of that, looking down at all the people.
Cool.
One of my first apartments in Richmond was on the 18th floor of a big building.
Wow.
I think, it was on the 18th floor. I think it was only 19 stories tall. So still like a fifth the size of the John Hancock Tower. So pales in comparison, but yeah, I think if we already, like, if the other planets were already inhabitable and I could go and live on them if I wanted, I think Mars is where I would choose to live.
Red.
The only other one I could see living on was Pluto, only to be like, right, but only to be like, you a real planet, Pluto. I believe in you. Right.
Show it some love.
Yeah, exactly.
For your small planet.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this depends on what stuff they put on a planet. Like, if I can go to
the
Mars
Disney
World,
in the galaxy on Saturn.
If I can go to Universal Studios Venus, I'll go. Like, then I'm gonna make a trip. But for right now, it's like, I like the moon, but I don't like look up to the stars very often. They're cool, but I'm not like, I'm more interested in like humans' relationship to space. Like, I like stories of astronauts more than I like stories of just like astronomy, physics, weird black holes and stuff. And like, I can't think about going to space if I haven't been to like the Burj Khalifa yet. Like, what am I doing? I'm just skipping a lot of steps.
I mean, I don't know.
I've never been in a glass bottom
biggest malls in the galaxy.
Forget it. I don't want to go to space. I've never been in a glass bottom boat before.
Neither have I.
I can't set my sights that high. I've got other stuff I have to do.
Anyways, that was all that I had on the moon landing. I happened to see that on Twitter, stuff like that. Speaking of anniversaries, though, apparently this year is the 35th anniversary of Akira. In fact, this past week, if I'm not mistaken, was the anniversary of the movie coming out, I think. And I have been reading the manga Akira for the first time. I've owned the movie, seen it a bunch of times. I think last week I said I had started it. I'd read like the first like two or three volumes. I have now read the entire thing. It was awesome. It was incredible. I had a blast.
Wow, you did already?
Yeah, I basically read a volume a night.
How much is there?
So it took me about a week. There's 6 volumes.
I thought it was way longer than that. I thought it was one of those like infamously long mangas.
No. It's one complete story. I think originally there's like 120 chapters total. I think it was cut up into like 12 volumes originally. And then like what you see most predominantly nowadays is the like oversized. Here's the
Yes.
big ones,
I
which
know
is what
those.
I have. And yeah, I could read one in a night in about an hour or two, depending on how long it was and how much text there was. But something that I thought was interesting about it is that I think with the movie, as much as I love it, I've always struggled to really find like my own like what is the meaning behind this story, or
Mm.
what are they trying to say? What is Otomo like? What was his thoughts on the time? Like all of that stuff. It was just hard for me to parse that out, and I think reading the manga, it was a lot more clear, but in a way that I was not expecting. Like, I think I was expecting more characters to have big long speeches or monologues, or them to somehow give you some kind of context clue of like what they thought and like all of that stuff. And oddly enough, most of the characters don't do that. Like, there's no big like villain monologue, all that stuff. There is some once you get closer to the end, but it's not much. And I really felt like a lot of what Otomo had to say was done through the setting that the characters are in Neo Tokyo, in the Great Tokyo Empire, all that stuff. Just like the wreckage and fallout of these giant explosions that have happened. And yeah, like the stuff he was trying to say happened in the setting as well as the circumstance of just what they were doing, rather than like what one character said. So I thought that was interesting. It felt much more like a story about like generational change, and how each generation felt about that stuff. So yeah, it was an interesting read. It was a good time for sure. Highly recommend it. But I did not plan it that way, that I would have like read it on the anniversary of that. I was just like, I'm gonna read it. Now's the time, and it worked out good. So, Hot Akira Summer has concluded.
Very brief.
There you go. Yeah, brief indeed. Brief indeed. Other things I've been watching, I finished season 2 of The Bear, which is incredible, fantastic, highly recommend it. That show is a lot, but also so cathartic at moments.
Okay.
Like, Melissa, I'm sure you've heard people talking about episode 6 of season 2. Without spoiling anything, it is the exact same anxiety and feeling that I got watching Uncut Gems. It is that.
I love Uncut Gems.
They have something like that in season 1 too, where it's not necessarily like a one shot thing, but it is like one big long sequence that's happening in real time in season 1. And this is a very similar thing happening in season 2, but in a very different setting. And it is just so overwhelming and so just loud and nonstop, and everyone is yelling, and it's just like, this is so difficult to watch, but it's fascinating. And then there's stuff, especially in season 2, where they really just go real quiet and real slow, and it's so good, and you're rooting for some of these characters, and you're just like, oh, they're so happy now, like, look at them. Good. It's great. So yeah, it is equally stressful and cathartic, of just like tense and release, like, oh, okay, good. But yeah, that is by far one of the best shows on television right now. So good.
What food does it make you crave the most? How's the food looking? What do they make?
Ooh, the food is incredible. So do you know what the basic elevator
it's
pitch
like a guy
is?
It's like a guy who went to school to be a fancy chef, and then like his brother was running the family like Italian beef restaurant, like sandwich place back in Chicago, and his brother dies and he has to take over the restaurant, and he's like We're going to do this a little bit fancier now.
Yeah.
And I think, was the brother the bear?
Their last name is Berzado. So the family, it is the main character. Like that is his nickname, but sometimes they could say that nickname for any of them, really.
Wow, we're all the bear.
Yeah, exactly. We are the Walking Dead. We are the bear. No,
we did halt, and we did catch fire.
We did the Brady, and we did the bunch.
There sure are a bunch of us.
No, but like, yeah. I mean, you got the basic premise. The main character is coming back to the family restaurant because his brother died and left it to him. However, he is this like Michelin star chef, ran like one of the greatest restaurants in the world, and he's coming back to this like little tiny sandwich shop that is just a mess. And it is, I mean, it's getting by because it has the regulars and they have the like their culture and their system. And he's coming in, and it's just like everything is just a nightmare. And so he's not necessarily trying to fix it, but he has dreams of, or he had a dream that him and his brother would have opened a restaurant together. And so he's wanting to take this place and turn it into that. And so, yeah, they do make like Italian beef sandwiches and stuff like that. It doesn't really look super fancy, but then immediately he starts adding in some stuff that's just like, okay, we're gonna do a reduction of this thing and that. And it's just like, okay, you're starting to like make it a little fancier here. I see. And then season 2, the basic premise of that is like they are basically gutting that restaurant, closing it down to remodel it, like all this stuff. They are opening up a brand new style of restaurant, and it's just like the process of opening a restaurant, and it is stressful, and it is just like, oh my gosh, everything is going wrong, and it's a nightmare, and but yeah, it's a good show. They do all sorts of stuff, from like the simple like sandwich shop stuff to like, here's a thing that looks like a Jell-O shot but actually tastes like a peanut butter cookie, like a Snickers bar with mint, and it's just like some little small thing like that, but it's like $20, and it's a
I want to eat a little
just
small
like,
thing.
What in the world?
Just once in my life, I want to go to a restaurant that has courses.
Yeah. And I think you will also really enjoy the show, not because of how much it can be like uncut gems, but because of the stunt casting in this. A lot of actors who are not like stunts like John Wick Mission Impossible stunts, but like,
I like all possible use of the word stunt. Proceed.
But like seeing Elizabeth Coleman, is that her name? Like she in Secret Invasion, she's the MI6 one, right?
Who's
that
Olivia Colman.
Name? Yes. She has an appearance in this. Will Poulter has an appearance in it. Bob Odenkirk has an appearance in it. Like there's actors and actresses in this that show up. Jamie Lee Curtis shows up and is in this. That is just, it's really neat to see them for, even if they're not in it for like more than an episode. Like it's just neat to be like, oh, okay, so interesting. You work here, or you do this, or you do that. It's also like a who's who of the like Chicago restaurant area. Like they go to actual places. They talk with actual like restaurateurs. There as if they are like actual characters in the show and stuff like that. It's really neat. It's fantastic. It's good. But yeah, that has been one of the big things that I've been watching. Also, Gravity Falls season 2. I mentioned that. I have like 4 more episodes left. In season 2. So that has been fantastic. I know you and I covered season 1 on the review show years ago. Yeah. And that was always like, I need to go back to this and finish this. And so now I am, and I'm happy, and it's so good. I love it. The last 2 things I've been catching up on, I finished Stargirl season 3, which I won't say much on. It's another one of those like DC CW comic book shows that was never actually on the CW. It started on the Infinite app and then moved over to HBO Max. So yeah, there's some weird stuff with all of that. But then I also finished Titan season 4, which was the final season of that. So again, we covered Titan season 1 like forever ago on the review show, and I liked it a lot. Season 1 had a few rocky spots, especially with that "fuck Batman, like I'm edgy just for edgy's sake." But it got past that stuff real fast and was spectacular. I like that show a lot. It's good. It's good indeed. So that's what I've been up to. That's what I've been doing, watching, reading.
Nice.
All that good stuff. Yeah. Next week, I think, will be an exciting episode. San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now. There's already been a bunch of announcements and stuff. This year, I think, will be lighter overall. A bunch of the movie studios backed out about a month ago or so. I think they kind of knew that these strikes were coming up. And so they were like, let's save ourselves some money, not go. Which just means that there's a lot of like stars and celebrities that can't really do much there if they are there at all. But on what I think is the silver lining is it's Comic-Con. It's always been about comics. And like it's back to focusing on like comics and stuff. I know also the Spider-Man 2 video game had a panel today. They released a new trailer, stuff like that. So maybe next week we'll have some highlights of Comic-Con. Yeah. Stuff like that. But Melissa, I want to end the podcast on a question.
Absolutely.
Would you eat a real cheeseburger? And by that, I mean that apparently over in Thailand, Burger King has introduced, according to IGN's tweet here, has introduced the real cheeseburger, a sandwich that contains 20 slices of American cheese stacked on a sesame seed bun with no burger patty or other toppings. This thing, I have to bring this up on screen because this is just all bonkers.
Yellow. It's all yellow American cheese. They didn't even throw a white American cheese in there for variety.
Nope.
This looks like a joke. I would not. I need to know how thick 20 slices of American cheese actually is. I imagine the sandwich isn't as thick as it is in this glossy promo photo.
Probably not. I think also, especially when you melt it, right? But when you go to the store and you get like slices of Kraft, like American cheese, I think they usually come in like packs of 16. So I mean, it's almost as thick as the book that you got. I think.
This one pack of Kraft singles thick.
Right. Exactly.
This sandwich makes me think of my Catholic mom just eating grilled cheeses during Lent. Like that's who I think the sandwich is for. Is this
a grilled cheese?
It is. this is not, no, but like there's one night we went out to, I had to pick up Breadco for dinner, and Mom wanted a grilled cheese, and I tried to get her like the adult grilled cheese. There's like a tomato slice in it and multiple kinds of cheese. And they accidentally gave us like the kids grilled cheese, and I like didn't look in the bag before I brought it home. And I was so sad that my adult mom has to eat the little kids grilled cheese. So like when I look at this big cheese mound, it makes me think of like, what if my mom was observing Lent, but also was into stunts and pranks? What if my mom was extreme during Lent? Then she would eat the stack of 20 slices of American cheese.
Is your mom a Pokemon? Is she an extreme type Pokemon? Oh my god. Oh, name that Pokemon. It's Mom. Oh god. So if not this, then what kind of food challenge would you eat? Like if you had to pick a food challenge to go do.
I'd see how fast I could eat a tub of frosting.
How big is the tub? Is it just like your regular can?
Just your regular, like off the shelf, Pillsbury, Betty Crocker, Duncan Hines. And I don't want to force myself to go at like Joey Chestnut speeds. I was thinking less of like the competitive hot dog eating contest and more of like a restaurant's challenge where it's like, can you finish X thing in an hour? Like, I would want to see if I could eat a tub of frosting in an hour.
See, I think you could do a tub of frosting in an hour. I would almost, like, I feel like it has to be bigger than what you would get at the store.
I could eat like a, well, no, I'm asking myself, what would be a challenge, but what would I want to do? And like, I don't want to eat a preposterous challenge size version of frosting. It's just challenging myself to eat the like 12-ounce little plastic container of frosting is as far as I'm willing to go. Like, you're really challenging my imagination this week. It's like, do you want to go to the moon? No.
Fear
I
is
just
not
want to
a
go to a
factor for
taller
Melissa.
building. Like, I just, just happiness is found in your own backyard. I don't gotta go to Oz. Look at all this stuff in Kansas. I want to eat a regular tub of frosting.
There you go. There you go. I would see. Here's the thing. I think I would be bad at these kinds of challenges. I would love to be able to sit down in front of a pizza that was like the size of the entire table, right? And just be like, this is all mine. Like, this
You can. There's some place
sure.
in St. Louis that will make you like a big pizza that's like as big as the arms I'm holding out in front of you here on screen.
But here's the thing, like, even when I go to a pizza place where they're like, okay, we're gonna split like a pepperoni pizza or something like that, and they bring out one that is like an extra large size just because they do bigger sizes or stuff like that. I'm always just like, all right, we have 6 slices left, which is most of it. Can we get a box? So I would be terrible at a food challenge. My girlfriend loves them, and she's like, I would be so good. We go to, like, you want donuts, wings, just let me get really high, and then I can just eat all of this stuff, and then that's it. It's over. We win.
That's what my roommate is like. She comes home from playing her like prestigious national level women's tackle football, eats an entire smokes a bong and eats an entire Domino's cheese pizza by herself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Have you seen that picture of the Rock where he's just like, cheat day, and it's like all of his stuff that he eats, and it's just like so much stuff. It's just like, how does that fit inside a human?
Boggling.
Oh my god.
He's hollow inside. I want to go back to this cheeseburger, and that I feel like we need to set stricter limits on what constitutes burger. because this is just stacks of American cheese between burger buns. But the presence of the bun, I don't think makes this a burger. If they took shredded cheese, formed that into a patty, grilled the patty, that's a burger. A burger
it's
requires
just like a fried
patty.
Mozzarella patty.
Right. And like I've had like fried cheese bricks before, but it was all like one consistency, like a chicken breast or something. Like,
sure, yeah.
It has like a chicken sandwich isn't a burger, but if you've ground chicken and you form a patty, it's a burger.
True.
These are my. I hate doing this at work. Like it's
the like conversation. So this is what you guys do at work, huh?
No,
okay, academic papers about what constitutes a burger versus what constitutes a grilled cheese. By Kyle
I get
Springer.
frustrated. I get frustrated at like the silly questions somebody will throw into our group chat on like a once a week in the afternoon. Okay, guys. Right. I am so tired of one day we were really busy and one girl's like, is a corn dog a popsicle? And I'm like, Kate, we don't have time for this. You have to stop. I don't want to tell anybody ever again if somebody stop me. I host this trivia night, and after the trivia, I'm like handing a gift card out to the winning team. And they're like, hey, we have a question for you. Is cheesecake more like cake or more like pie? And I'm like, I have to do this in my day job. Don't make me do it here.
Someone else gets this gift card now. Thanks.
So the fact that I have this, like, can I have an opinion? Sure. But I get so overcrowded with then 10 people have to have an opinion on whether the thing is a sandwich or not. I can tell you just fine, but I just never want to be forced to do this in a group setting.
Amazing. I say we wrap up our podcast right there. Great way to end the show this week. Melissa, social medias and all that, where can they find you on the interwebs?
I'm starting to feel embarrassed by saying this every week, but you can, in theory, still find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit, WILKYWIT, and listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities.
And there you go. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter as well as on Threads. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter and at the Whatnauts official on Threads. So please go like, share, subscribe. You guys know the deal with all of that. If you're watching this on YouTube, plenty more videos right over that way. On that side of the screen, this is number 245 of the Captain's Log. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.